Virgo, welcome to your tarot reading. If you're new, welcome in. And if you're returning, welcome back. Either way, thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to pull a traditional Celtic cross spread. Whatever message comes out is what you need to hear. I've set that intention with my guides and with this deck. So if you are here because this message is in your feed, then this message is for you. And if you are here because of the title, then this message is definitely for you. So let's get into the tarot and see what Spirit has for you at this time. Be sure and like the video and definitely subscribe if you like the messages. All of your interactions have really been helping my channel to grow, and it does push the messages out for others to receive them as well. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. You guys have been awesome supporters of my channel, and I really, really appreciate you guys. On the bottom of the deck, we had the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups is about moving on. This is about leaving things that are no longer emotionally fulfilling for you, right? This people, places, things, that'll be different for each of you because it is a general reading. But whatever it is that you are needing to walk away from and move on from, right? This can also be like a refusal to move away. This card in reverse is like fearing change and not walking away, but now is the time for you to be able to do that, right? So in this card, like this person is walking towards the unknown. He's walking away from all of these things that used to fulfill him and they no longer do, but he has no idea where he's going, right? So I feel like there is some kind of underlying fear of the unknown. But when something is not emotionally fulfilling, you need to move into a new cycle, right? So there are things that you have to leave behind in order to do so. And on this card, there is this eclipse here in the background. I always notice that on this card lately. And I think it's because we're coming up into eclipse season. I don't normally point that out on that card, but it has really been grabbing my attention. But we have eclipses coming up in August. So that could be a timing for you, or, you know, some kind of something may resonate along with the eclipses. Maybe this is happening in eclipse time, or just that's the timing of when things really need to kind of take place here. The situation is the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is, this can be about building stability or conserving resources. It's also about trying to hold on to things, trying to control things, right? That can be behavior or trying to control resources. This can be like trying to really focus on material stability, you know, but there are other factors here, right? Like, yes, money is important, but trying to hold on to material possessions is never going to bring you emotional fulfillment, right? So I feel like there is this need to release control and move on from something, right? So this can be like a job that you're holding on to, right? Maybe you're holding on to a workplace that is just not emotionally fulfilling anymore, or some type of work that is no longer emotionally fulfilling. This could be about a relationship. This could be a family member, right? Maybe this is, your cousin or your brother, right? But this is about needing to kind of release control and moving on from a situation, right? I feel like you're just holding on so tight. And the blockage here is the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is like good luck, karma, things starting to turn in your favor, right? Because our lives go in cycles. And I feel like there is one cycle that is trying to close out and a new cycle is trying to come in here. But when the Wheel of Fortune is in the blockage area, this is asking you to really focus on what you can control, right? Especially when things feel chaotic or the unknown, right? Again, this person is walking away and they have no idea where they're going. And that can leave you feeling out of control. Like you don't know what's coming in. You don't know what's going to happen. And that can feel a little chaotic. And I totally understand that, right? Like I've been through cycles like that myself. But again, this is needing to trust in the divine timing, because this is very much a divine timing card, and trust that the cycles are closing out and that the new cycle is what is for your best and highest good, right? What are you refusing to end, or what are you trying to resist here, right? It can feel really uncomfortable, right? When everything is around you and a new cycle is trying to come in, that can be, again, really just leave you feeling out of control, especially with the unknown, because you can't control that, right? So focus on what you can control. You can control your mindset. You can control how you react to things, right? Maybe get in a meditation or a journaling practice. I highly recommend those to everyone. All of my coaching clients that I have, I'm very adamant about that. I do that myself every single day, and it really helps keep my mindset. Even when things feel chaotic, or I may not feel like I'm in control, at least I can, do my meditation and my journaling practice. Yeah, so the root cause of this situation right now is the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is about loss. This is about sadness, grief. So again, you could have lost a relationship, you could have lost a job, but this is about the grief and sadness that comes with that loss, and then feeling out of control, right? And maybe a situation, this is about disappointment. Maybe a situation just did not work out the way that you wanted it to, and you're feeling very disappointed, and there's grief that comes with that, right? So this person is so focused on this Three of Cups, on what is lost, that they're not seeing the Two of Cups here behind them, right? They're not seeing the bridge and then the castle that is back here behind them. So really needing to, again, to trust in this cycle that good things are still coming in. That just because you're closing things out, or just because there was loss in one cycle, doesn't mean that a new cycle won't bring in, better things, bring in more things. So in the recent past, what is still affecting this situation, we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is about conflict. This is about, this could have been about arguments, or, difficult conversations. This is about, how you manage yourself during those situations. Again, what can you control? You can control your temperament. You can control how you respond to someone, right, with your words. And this is also about an internal conflict. So again, with this feeling out of control, like you don't know where things are going, things are not working out the way you wanted it to. And then, with this Five of Swords, that can be very much an internal, because the swords are about it's air energy. It's about our thoughts. So you could be very internally conflicted about this closing of a cycle, moving into a new cycle, because again, maybe you don't see everything. Or because, with the Wheel of Fortune, a lot of times things are happening behind the scenes and there's nothing tangible in your 3D. So like if you've lost a job, you're not seeing a new job. So it kind of has you feeling out of control, right? Which is understandable, natural human emotion and reaction to a situation. But, you're leaving all of that behind. And your message from your guides and your higher self, we have the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles he is very wealthy. He is very stable, but this doesn't even have to do with money. This can just be your guides and your higher self telling you to remain stable and grounded, right? Step into that healthy masculine energy, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. This is just about remaining stable and grounded in yourself, in your practice, in your mentality, right? And really kind of stepping into like a leadership role in your life, and whatever this situation is, right? And then finding that internal drive in order to take action from a grounded and stable place. Again, not letting your emotions get the better of you, or not feeding into like drama, chaos, this Five of Swords energy, this conflict, whether it's internal or external, right? If you're having conflicts with others, and feeding into that drama, this is about you needing to remain stable and grounded and step into that energy to move forward, right? Again, don't feed into drama. Don't feed into the conflict, whether it's internal or external. So in the immediate future, we have the Ten of Swords. And I personally love the Ten of Swords because this is an end of a cycle, right? And it may have been a painful cycle, a painful lesson to learn. because this person has 10 swords in his back, right? Like that can't be comfortable. So it was probably very uncomfortable for, a long period of time. Cycles can take very long to end, but nevertheless, this is an ending. And this, from there, you can move forward into a new beginning and really start to heal and focus on the new that is coming in here, right? Because with every ending, there is a new beginning. I just feel like a cycle is trying to close out and it's still lingering in your energy, right? Which is, again, totally understandable. So, perfect example, like I quit a job in October and I did a reading for myself in March of the next year and it was still in my energy, right? So, cycles can last for a long time, but there is like this need to heal from that and really focus on the new beginning that is trying to develop here and the new cycle that's trying to come in. So, in your thoughts and feelings, we have the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is about nostalgia, memories. This is about feeling safe. So, maybe you feel very safe. Maybe you feel at home. Or maybe your feelings are very much focused on home and nostalgia, like this past memories, right? So, the negative side of this could be like an unhealthy attachment to nostalgia or believing that the past was somehow better than the future is going to be, which looks very, very much like what this mentality can be about. Like not moving into a new cycle because you're trying to hold on to the past. Like, and I get it, when you have loss and grief and disappointment, it can be hard to move into a new cycle and you're kind of holding on to like a comfort zone, right? Like this is your comfort blanket, the Six of Cups, and you're trying to hold on to past memories or past way of being, or really focusing on, again, what could have been, and not moving into a new cycle. So I just feel like there is very much a need to release past cycles, and whether that's, a mentality, a person, a place, or an actual home, because this can be, a card of your home, your safety, security, right? So in your environment, the influence, we have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is fire energy, right? Wands are that fiery, passionate energy. This is about action. So I feel like in your energy, there is this opening up to new opportunities, having optimism, and then, really kind of stepping into expressing yourself in a way that feels fresh and dynamic. And so this could be you getting new information about how to move forward, maybe getting information on how to get out of a comfort zone, right? Because this is also about messages. So it could be like messages from the divine, right? It doesn't even have to be from an actual person. But again, this is about being enthusiastic and optimistic about new opportunities and stepping into a new beginning. So in your hopes and fears, we have the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is, again, messages. But this is your creative expression. And I always think of the pages as like that fresh, youthful energy, right? Because they are younger energy. It doesn't mean that you're dealing with someone younger or that you are younger. It just means like that fresh, new energy, right? And with the Page of Cups, it's about new emotional experiences. So I feel like you're really hoping for a new emotional experience or some kind of new emotional beginning here. So the potential outcome is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is Sagittarius energy. So you may have Sagittarius in your chart, or you could be dealing with a Sagittarius. But the Sagittarius is that fire energy, again, with the wands, right? Like tapping into that energy, fire energy. This is like taking action on what you're passionate about, really kind of reigniting that spark that you have, right? Reigniting your passions and what it is that you want to go after. Because the Knight of Wands, he's driven by action and he takes decisive action to move towards what it is that he wants to bring into fruition. So if you've been feeling blocked and stagnant, this comes in to kind of reignite that spark for life, right? Reignite that passionate energy that you've had in regards to a new beginning. Because I do see you like needing to walk away from something and starting into a new cycle. Maybe it was just a cycle that had you very drained and feeling depleted, right? Because of that 10 of swords and that 5 of cups, 5 of swords, that can just leave you feeling very defeated type of energy, right? And then this is kind of you finding that spark and that vitality again to move towards your goals. So, and also trusting your intuition to do so. And that could be in your hopes too. That Page of Cups, that can be um, open to messages from your intuition, or it could have to do with like a creative project, you wanting to start something new and creative. It's just something about your emotions. But, you know, with that Knight of Wands there and your potential outcome, that is you really finding your spark again and then taking passionate action towards your goals, towards your dreams, towards moving into a new cycle, right? Maybe kind of releasing this past energy because I feel like you've been holding on to it for too long. And it's just time for it to get out of your energy. It's time to end that, right? And heal and then move forward. That can be really difficult, you know? And people react differently to every situation, right? If the same thing happened to you and me, we're going to react in completely different ways, right? How I heal is different from how you heal. How I move forward is very different from how you move forward. And it doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's just different, right? We're all different human beings. But there is very much this need to release the past, release an old way of being or thinking or doing, this person, place, or thing, and release that control, move forward. I feel like it's going to happen in August or start to kind of take place. The wheel's going to start turning in August. I think August 12th is when our first eclipse happens. I think right about that time. They may have started under the surface already because the Wheel of Fortune isn't always something that you can see. But I feel like they could have started already moving. You just can't see it in the physical. But I feel like you are going to take this passionate action, this decisive action, and find that spark again with around the eclipse season, right? Which can last up to 6 months. So, but I very much see you moving into a new cycle here and accepting this cycle change and overcoming this. Just remember to stay grounded through it. Again, I'm so adamant with people, like, journal, manifest, meditate, go for a walk, you know, get out of your head, take a shower, do something to kind of get out of your head and really help you move forward, get some kind of clarity here to move forward. So I love that message for you. I think this is amazing. I hope that helped, and I will see you next time. Bye.